Good evening, everybody. It's Monday night, and we're gonna get started here. Normally doing our coding stuff, and it's not tonight's not going to be any different. Except I decided at the last minute I kind of want to finish what we were doing, or maybe not finish, but I want to continue what we were doing with the game development stuff on Saturday, because I feel like we're like very close to maybe having something visual to look at potentially. I just have to kind of work through the few things left there as I learn. I did, however, forget to announce the stream on Discord, so give me one moment here whilst I do that. But welcome everybody. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope you're all healthy and happy and had a good weekend. I took last night's stream off. I was just I was feeling off all day yesterday. And like I woke up and like I didn't even exercise yesterday. Because I was just kind of feeling like I woke up and I was just not like I was like my stomach wasn't good, and I was like a little bit not feverish, but I just felt like I felt like my blood pressure was elevated, and I felt like I was a little bit dizzy. So I was like, I made a promise to myself that I would not try to work through, like if I wasn't feeling it, like if my body was just not doing well, that I would not try to work out on those mornings. First time around years ago when I lost this weight, I would still try to work out, like just do like a lighter workout, or like a half time of, half the time and half. It never ended up well doing that. Like that's how I experienced my first time having like dry heaves and stuff, which is very, very unpleasant, because it's extra unpleasant because you don't get the satisfaction of actually producing anything. It's just, you don't feel better afterwards, you feel worse afterwards, essentially. So I decided that I didn't, I just relaxed most of the day, and then I was doing good. Like after I ate breakfast and stuff, I felt much better. And then towards nighttime, I was feeling good, but I was like just completely out of energy. Like I just didn't have any energy in me, and I slept well too. It wasn't like anything like that. I had zero energy, and I was like, you know what? Let's just not worry about this. Let's just get to bed early and just, do our thing. And then, so I did that, and felt a lot better this morning, and been feeling okay all day. It's just like within the last hour or so, my stomach is uneasy, but I think we'll be okay. We'll see. If I have to make a shortened stream, then I'll make a shortened stream. It's just I'm feeling well enough. Let's put it that way. So it's not, shouldn't be too bad. I'm also kind of taking it easy. I think I have a feeling, I can't be sure, but I have a feeling like the coffee, like I kind of need to change up coffee flavors. Like right now I am like I have the K cups and stuff, and what I usually do is I have like a variety of them, and sometimes I'll pick one, sometimes I'll pick the other one, I'll just kind of change it up. And I still have a variety there. It's just that like what's left in the what's left in the holder, the spinning holder that I have, is just all one flavor, and so I've been just kind of doing that over and over again. And I have a feeling it's not my favorite one. It's I think it's Donut Shop or something. Not my favorite of all of them. Never really has been my favorite. It always has kind of like, it's okay if you don't have too much of it, but if you like have more than one cup of it in a day, it for some reason it tends to like sour my stomach, and I think that's what's going on right now. So I just have to pull the other flavors out of the, like I have a couple boxes in the in the cabinet. I've just been too lazy to pull them out and put them in the put them in the spinny thing. little snippet of my life there. But I think I might have to do that because I think that's what's going on. But I didn't take coffee tonight. I actually have switched over to tea just it'll be a little bit easier on my stomach than the coffee will be. But anyway, so we're here like loading up mesh stuff, and I was just kind of looking over it, and I just kind of have to pull this over as is, I think. So we got the VBO. At some point I'm gonna have to like, I think this is vertex buffer object is what that stands for, but at some point I have to really kind of look up some of these terms and understand what's going on, because I can see what they're doing to me makes sense, but at the same time, and I think I mentioned this on Saturday, I couldn't write this unprompted, right? Like I'd have to still look at something and be like, oh yeah, no, this is what you gotta do next, and this is what you gotta do next. So I kind of want to dig a little deeper to some of these things. Man, my throat is all dry right now. Oh, there we go. It's a little bit better. But anyway, let's pull over what we got here. So they got a positions buffer is a float buffer. Okay. They're getting the VBO ID, which is the ID of the buffer that they're going to fill with data, which is data from the positions buffer. Which you're putting in there, and it's static draw. Okay. Enable vertex attribute array. And then GL vertex attribute pointer. Okay. Positions is passed in. Okay. All right. Well, let's do what we got here. So VBO ID and GL gen buffers. What is this called? Positions. Well, I guess I don't really need the comment there. But I'll put it there anyway. So int video ID equals GL gen, GL46.GL gen buffers. VBO ID list. Did I make the VBO ID list? I did not. That's in mesh. VBO ID list. Oh, okay. I did make it. I just put it at the top. All right. So we're just adding that ID there, which makes sense because we're tracking it so that we know what to clear up later, what to free later. So, all right. Video. What's it called? Video ID lists. Why is that? Oh, because this is static. Because that is static. Why did I make that static? Oh, because they made it, this is the constructor, right? Alright. Alright, that's fine. I want it to be, hey, Nocturne Knight, welcome on it. How are you doing? Let's do this. Let's make this private. And let's go public, mesh. You're also trying to learn game dev? Cool, cool. Yeah, I'm trying to learn how to write an engine. So that's what I'm on about right now. Yeah, I was. I know there's plenty of engines out there I could use, but I'm a programmer through and through, and I just feel like, you know, it's, I would be bored if I tried to do another engine. I feel like, I feel like I need to write code. And if I was doing another engine, I might like, get kind of bored of it. Where did I learn my programming? So as far as game dev is concerned, I haven't learned anything. I'm just learning that now. But as far as like general programming is concerned, because I usually do like regular software, I do like web development. I'm a full stack developer. So I basically I picked up a book and way back when and learned C. And from that I went to college, and then in college I learned Java. And then I've been basically working in Java most of my career. I've had a few stints in other languages, but mostly doing Java stuff. Actually, pretty lost because you've been trying to learn coding from YouTube. There's a lot of good stuff on YouTube. I mean, it's I think the hardest part of YouTube is the format doesn't really lend itself well to learning. And there's more to programming than just the language. It's a lot of times it's a thought process. You know what I mean? Um, like it's a lot of you're trying to make a very logical, very rigid computer do things that aren't very logical or rigid. And you sort of have to convince it to do the things you want it to do, based on just a whole lot of on-off switches. You know, you're basically in a giant room of light switches, and you got to select some on, some off, all the way along, and then eventually you get something that resembles a program. So I guess the question really is, where do you feel the most lost? Do you feel lost with like data structures and how things are manipulated, or you feel more lost with particular languages or language constraints, or is it just like a fog everywhere? You just don't really know what to do. Okay. Is it, you learn JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. Those are good things to start with. JavaScript's pretty good to start with because you don't need any real tools. You already have the tool that you need, which is the browser, basically. So what do you want to do in JavaScript? You don't know what to do next. Okay. Well, is it you don't know, like, what, you're a gaming person. Okay. So do you want to make a game in JavaScript in a browser? Because you totally can, if that's what you want to do. Or do you want to make a more traditional game with as an executable? Is the next question. Right? Not in JavaScript. Okay. I mean, let's put that in perspective for a second, right? There are languages for game dev. Sure, but it's not really the language. And that's the big misconception that people have, is that, oh, you have to write something in C, or you have to write something in some other language, right? And that's not really the case, because I'm writing this in Java, which most people would not consider to be a gaming language, right? Even though Minecraft was written in it. So it's not really the language, it's the programmer, is what it comes down to. And also you sort of have to put what you're doing in perspective, right? Like, you're just learning, right? So you're not going to churn out something that is probably all that awesome. Like, I'm definitely not going to make something that's all awesome. Like, this is my first foray into it, right? I'm definitely going to make something crappy at the end of this. But my goal is not to make something great. My goal is to learn, right? And then take what I've learned, and then maybe the second thing will be kind of nice and kind of cool, you know? So writing it in JavaScript is actually not a bad idea. I mean, you've got WebGL, which is basically OpenGL in a web browser, right? So you could do 3D model, you could do a canvas. You can open up a canvas and start making 3D rotations and 3D models and all kinds of stuff in there. Now it's bare bones, and there's not a whole lot well, there may not be a whole lot of libraries that help you out. I don't know. I haven't actually tried, but you could probably still learn quite a bit. There's certainly a lot of books out there that teach you how to do OpenGL, right? So learning like Kaboom.js to make an easy 2D game. Yeah, okay. 2D game is also doable in the browser, right? Because again, you've got Canvas, so you can load up. You've already got ways to load up images and audio files and all kinds of stuff, right? And there are browser-based games out there right now. So my point there is, why not go with something you're already used to, right? You don't necessarily have to jump into another language, because here's the problem. As you're trying to learn game development, you're going to have to also learn a new language. And that's kind of doing it in hard mode, right? Whereas if you already understand JavaScript for the most part, then you can focus on the development part of things. You can focus on the main gameplay loop and loading up images and handling user inputs and all that stuff. Those are big, important things that once you understand them, it doesn't matter what language you're using, right? Because you can take those concepts and put them in whatever other language you want to put them in. If you want to eventually make something in C or whatever, you can, because you've already got the basic concepts of what you need, right? It's always a matter of knowing what you need to be and where you need to go for stuff, right? Because it's like it's an uphill battle if you don't know. I guess the best analogy would be, if you have 1,000 puzzle pieces on the ground, but you have no idea what the final image is, it's going to be a lot harder to do that than if you know what the image is supposed to be, right? Then you have something to guide you to put those pieces together. And so why not use something you're already familiar with, get that image in your mind of how things interact with one another, and then you can then take it and go and run with it and do other things, right? So I wouldn't worry so much about the language per se. Now, as far as like tools and books and stuff like that, I don't really know. I'm using, for my specific thing here, since I'm doing Java and I'm doing the lightweight Java game library, there's a book called 3D Game Development with LWJGL3, which is what I'm using. That's just free out there on the internet that I found through just Googling. And I'm just kind of running with this because they've got like example code from the book, and I'm just kind of looking at the code and just trying to figure out as I go. I still don't know like the underlying reasons for some of these things, but I can follow the code and I can kind of see where they're going with it. So even I'm struggling with the idea of like, where do I go to get information, right? So I started out with just using GitHub Copilot and using the AI and asking it where to go, and I was getting some places. I was getting stuff that I could Google, but I was also getting a lot of bad advice too. So it's one of those things. It's like I have the benefit of like doing development for a while, just general software development for a while, so I can kind of tell when an AI is BSing me. But someone starting out it would be very, very difficult. So I don't know particularly where you could go to get more information, other than to Google as best as you can, Stack Overflow as best as you can, maybe find a game development forum somewhere, if they still exist. I mean, there used to be one that was old school. I don't even know if it still exists anymore out there. I think it was called GameDev.net. I don't even know if that still exists. It does. It does still exist. That's pretty funny. This has a lot of information on it, like an overwhelming amount of information, but you know, it's got forums, and this place has been around. Like, I used to frequent this back in like 1996, 97, or 98, 99, kind of around that time. Like, this has been around forever. It looks completely different too. But their forums, like, they have a ton of stuff in there. I mean, that would be one thing. So I also kind of want to do AI stuff. You think it's cool? Yeah, no, I dabbled in it in college a little bit. Because I thought it was kind of cool too. The only reason I didn't go into it was it was too much for my brain. Like, it was way over my head. Like, there was a lot, like, I was never good at math, and I've never been good at math, and there was a lot of math in AI, believe it or not. But I learned what I could. You know, I learned things here and there, and different algorithms and stuff like that. I took away what I could from it. But, you know, it's one of those things where you're at a point now. It's very exciting, the point that you're at right now, because you're kind of at that point where you're like a sponge, just kind of looking at everything, going, I want to know everything. I want to see everything, and that's great. That's exciting. That's very exciting. Don't ever lose that. Don't ever lose that desire, because it can be very easy to get beaten down and stay in your lane, kind of thing. Just always, like, want to know more about a lot of things, and you'll do really well in whatever you do. But it's also, the problem that I have, and I've had this problem for a very long time, is I start stuff and I never finish stuff. I start stuff and I never finish stuff, because I jump from one thing to the other. I'm like, oh wait, I want to go do this. Oh no, I want to go do that. I want to go do this. I want to go do that. And that has always been the case for me, always. It can be really difficult to stay focused on a thing. And the best thing I can tell you there is that may not be the worst thing in the world. Because even though I have trouble staying on topic and staying, like, and seeing something through to the end, I've learned so much along the way, and I've taken that with me in my professional career as just a software developer. And I'm able to kind of just absorb a lot of little things and just kind of help out here as part of a team of other people, right? So that's not necessarily a bad thing. You don't, I wouldn't worry about jumping around and not finishing anything. I would worry more about learning stuff. Do enough of a thing to learn it, right? Hey, you just want to make a model of the solar system and have it spin around, in OpenGL. Just do it. Who cares, right? Not everything has to be awesome and super and great. It just has to be enough that you can kind of learn the basics, I'm actually making an RPG game I just switch out of it because it's kind of getting boring. Sure. Yeah. I mean, I like RPGs as well as the next guy, but yeah, it could be a lot. You know, and it's one of those things where I would say so. I'm a little torn because there's game jams that go on all the time. I'm not really a big fan of game jams because I feel like on the one hand, they're very useful, especially as like a way to sort of spur imagination. But on the other hand, they also kind of encourage crunch because it's like, oh, finish this thing in like 24 hours, finish this thing in 48 hours. And I don't particularly like the downside of that. But what I would say is it wouldn't hurt if you looked at a game jam. You don't have to participate directly in it, but you could look at the topic and just try your hand at it. And don't time yourself. Don't time box yourself. Just like look at some of the topics that they have. Look at some of the submissions that have been there and just do something small. You don't have to do anything giant or huge. You don't have to do a whole RPG game. You don't have to do a whole big thing. Just do something like tiny. Do like asteroids or some kind of spin on asteroids, or a spin on, you know, any kind of like single screen game if you want. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be, your first foray doesn't have to be anything big, because all you're really doing is putting little pieces together, right? And trying to see what works and what doesn't work. And that way, if you keep it small and compact, like, you know, you got asteroids, you've got Pong, you've got Centipede, like these are old games, right? You've got something more recent, Flappy Bird, you know, things like that. Things are just like really simple concepts. You know, they don't set out to do anything crazy. They just set out to be a thing. And that way you can kind of like reduce the amount of, it's still a lot of effort to do those things, but you start to see something takes shape a lot faster, right? Asked for some advice for a long time. Hey, no problem whatsoever. I mean, that's part of what I do here is as I've said a couple times in the past, this is my way of doing like a just chatting without being bored by just doing just chatting. Like I don't have any deadlines. Nothing that I'm working on has to be done anytime this century. And so I do this kind of as a halvesies, right? Like I have something to do while at the same time I could chat sometimes too. You know what I mean? So it's no biggie for me. But it's you know, like I said, it's very easy to bite off a huge chunk of something when all you really need is just a tiny morsel. You just need little things here and there just to kind of introduce the concepts to you that you're trying to do, and just kind of work on it from there. I mean, when I was learning C, I had a book. It was called, let me see if I can find it. Teach yourself game programming in, yeah, here it is. It even did it. This is the book I had. I still have it. Yeah, Teach Yourself Game Programming in 21 Days. This is an old book. This is back from the days of DOS and like Windows 3.1 stuff. And this came with like a compiler on a disk. So like a C compiler on a disk and all that stuff. And it was eye-opening for me because it talked about assembly language, it talked about DOS, it talked about how to do gaming in DOS and how to get like the different game modes going and how the mouse worked, how the keyboard worked internally, all that stuff. Like that, this book, I used it so much. I still have it, but it's got duct tape on the spine to keep it together because I've had it because I used the hell out of it. But you know, like I said, that's way out of date for nowadays. But it was the thing that started me down the path of just doing development. Like I wasn't even doing game development; I was just doing development. And one of the good things about this book is that it takes little sections each day. Like you do a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of that. You do like, here's how to set the video mode and show some colors on the screen. And then the next thing is, here's how to do some lines on the screen. And here's how to do anti-aliasing for those lines so that they look decent, you know, on a 320 by 200 screen and all that stuff. And that's kind of all you really need to do is just sort of like pick small things. Just do small little things. You know, get, you know, images to load up and then maybe get some movement going and stuff like that. You don't need anything ginormous. And just keep iterating like that. Just keep doing little things here and there, little ideas that you have. And then eventually you might hit upon an idea, make something really small, make a little prototype thingy, and be like, I kind of enjoy this. I'd like to make some more, I'd like to do some more work on this. And you might start to slowly expand it. But every time you expand it, you have something to look at. You have something tangible. Like that's the most important thing is like, try not to take something so big that you don't have something tangible for a long period of time, right? Take small portions of it. Always have something that you can look at and go, okay, I'm sort of getting there. Okay. You know, we're you know, it's not there yet, but you know, the progress is moving. Because it can get frustrating when you write tons of code and you have nothing to show for it. Now, later on, and you know, if you go professionally and do stuff, that's going to happen a lot. But you know, that's in a professional environment, not in a learning environment. At that point, you probably already you've done enough little things along the way that you've built up confidence in what you're doing. And that's really the important thing, is to build up confidence in what you're doing. Because without that, you just get frustrated and you don't know, and you feel like you're completely lost, right? When in fact, you're actually really close. It's just, you took something that was too big. You know what I mean? It's about confidence boosting. Once you get confidence, so one of the big problems that I've seen, and this is probably a problem with a lot of other creative endeavors too, but it's definitely something I've seen in programming, both game development and software development in general. We get a lot of people in that have imposter syndrome. And even to this day, I still get imposter syndrome, right? Where you feel like a fraud. You feel like you're not doing anything worthwhile. You feel like someone's going to expose you at some point. You know, you'll lose confidence in what you're doing. You know, you feel like you're not good at anything. And the reality of the situation is that has never been true. Right? You know, when you look back at the things you've done, it's never been true. You've always known what you're doing. And if you didn't know what you're doing, you figured it out. Right? And, I mean, hell, out of the blue, in the middle of my career, I went and did Ruby on Rails. I worked for a company where I was expected to program in Ruby, the Ruby language, and do Ruby on Rails. I had never written in Ruby on Rails. I had written functional programming before, sort of, in my C days back in college and stuff, but that had been years and years prior. And I jumped in head first, and most people wouldn't have done that. And sure, there were days where I was like, man, I bitten off way more than I can chew, but I figured it out. I wasn't the greatest, but I figured it out. And that's really, you just kind of have to, it's all about confidence, right? It's about well-deserved confidence. Like, don't get too confident. Don't get overconfident. But it's about having enough confidence in yourself that you can focus and just figure things out. And that's what you're trying to do right now, is in the process of learning, you want to take small morsels and you want to make something and see it being made with your own hands, because that will stick with you, and that will give you the motivation to just keep on going. And you know what, if you get halfway through something and you think, I don't like JavaScript, I want to go learn another language, go do it. You know what I mean? Go do it. It's better to latch on to something that you like, particularly early on, than to worry about what's going to get you a job or something like that. Just don't worry about those things. Don't worry about what's going to make you successful. Don't worry about what's going to give you a job or have career paths. Just right now, enjoy the learning process as much as you can, and just go wherever your brain, is happy. because believe me, if you do decide that you want to go into a career like this, you're going to be in plenty of places where your brain's not happy. And you're going to have to suck it up at some point. Right now, you're not there. Don't have to worry about that. Just be in a happy place. That's the best I can say for all that. But yeah, I mean, that's exciting. That's really exciting. I sort of miss those days a little bit, where I was just so it's not that I don't enjoy learning stuff. I really do, but I've been so beaten down by the mundane that learning new stuff now has lost a little bit of its luster for me. So it's very exciting to be in a position that you're in, where it's just it's all new and it's all exciting and awesome, and yeah, try to hold on to that as long as you can. As long as you can. All right, yeah, nice to meet you, Nocturne. All right, have a good night and enjoy yourself. Thanks for stopping by. Cool. Yeah, I don't. I only do development on certain days. Tomorrow I'll be just playing games and stuff. But you're welcome to come by and watch me play games too. I only do development on a couple days. I can't do development every single day, because I write code for a living, and it would be too much. It would be too exhausting for me to write code every single day and then every single night. So I use a lot of my nights where I just play games to try to unwind and relax. So, but anyway, have a good night. So we did gen buffers, and I added it to the lists. So I gotta do. I'll just call. Turn it. Oh, I gotta pass it the stuff here. This I don't. Yeah. Yeah, we just do a knit. Because that is the constructor. I don't need another constructor there. So this can just be void at this point, and then we just call everything. Like that. I don't need to return anything then. That's a little bit more. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. I know I'm doing half dozen of one, 2 dozen of another, but it's, you know. I'm doing it my way. I'm doing it my way. E. Okay, and then what are we doing here? Allocating a positions buffer. Stack colic floats. And this would be positions versus. Length, right? Positions buffer, put 0 positions. Okay. I don't know why they call it positions. Just call it vertex buffer. Zero, and then what did I put there? Vertices, okay. Okay, and vertex buffer. So we get bind buffer and then buffer data. Okay. Where's that puts? Okay. What was it? GL bind buffer. buffer. All right, and buffer data is the same thing, positions buffer and static draw. Geo 46 geo array buffer. And this was what? GL static draw. Okay. Okay, great. And then enable vertex attribute array 0. What is that? What is 0? Index of the attribute to be enabled. Okay. Magic numbers. That's the one thing that gets me a lot about OpenGL programming. They seem to rely a lot on magic numbers. You know what I mean? It's like, again, down here you got enable vertex attribute array 1. It's like, okay. we couldn't give them a constant or anything. We just said, you know, here's just a magic number just out of the blue. You just got to know that it's 0 and the next one's 1. You know, like, is this one 2? No, there's nothing down there for that one. So yeah, that annoys me more than a little bit. This insistence on having these magic numbers hanging around that you have no idea what they are unless you go digging through, you know, reams of paperwork to find them. GL vertex attribute pointer. Oops, wrong way. GL vertex attribute pointer. Vertex attribute pointer. So what is this? 0, 3, GL float, false, 0, 0. 0. Three. Float, false, 0, 0. Okay, what the hell are these? Index is 0, size is 3, type is float, normalized false, stride is 0, and pointer is 0. Specifies the location and organization of a vertex attribute array. Index is the index of generic vertex attribute to be modified. Size is the number of values per vertex. Okay, so it's X, Y, and Z. Okay. The type is, yeah, GL float. That's fine. Normalize. Whether fixed point data values should be normalized or converted directly as fixed point values when they are accessed. Okay. Stride. The byte offset between consecutive generic vertex attributes. If stride is 0, the generic vertex attributes are understood to be tightly packed in the array. The initial value is 0. Okay. So that's if you had like, if you had the array, if like it was a sparsely populated array. Okay. Pointer. The vertex attribute value or the offset of the first component of the first generic vertex attribute in the array in the data store of the buffer currently bound to array buffer target. Initial value is 0. Okay. Okay, those make sense now that I've read the Java doc for them. All right, and then texture coordinates. Yeah. They're reusing VBO ID, and I, in general, don't like doing that. So I'm going to do texture VBO ID equals GL 46. And that's not, it's okay that they reused it. It's not wrong. But it's a code smell. You know, in other words, if I came back to this method months from now and say I wanted to add an additional buffer in here, right? Or I rearranged some things and now I'm passing the, you know, they all reference VBO ID, right? And now I've rearranged something and now it's got the wrong VBO ID. Like that's just bad practice, right? It's like, use it and be done with it, right? Like let it just, you know, let it be what it's supposed to be. I guess technically I should have called this vertices VBO. Let's do that now. I didn't realize that they were rearranging it, so vertex VBO ID. There we go. Yeah, because yeah. Call it what it's supposed to be and don't reuse stuff if you don't need to. Because, again, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with reusing that. It's not technically incorrect code. But that's a 2 a.m. blurry-eyed vision error waiting to happen, right? Where you're just working on something, you're refactoring or you're moving something around or you're just trying to get something to work and you mess it up because the variable is not what you expected it to be. You know what I mean? Like it just takes a little bit of thought to not do stuff like that. And again, it feels like that's the kind of thing you do in C or another functional programming language, right? Where you just kind of keep reusing these variables because, you know, at the end of the day, everything's a pointer. And, you know, everything's a reference, I guess, at the end of the day. And while it's true that Java has references and stuff, and like I said, it'll work. It's still just a bad coding practice. It makes your code look, someone like me, it makes your code look amateur. And that's what I'm getting a lot of from here. It's like a lot of this feels very amateur. Even though this is probably someone who's very knowledgeable in what they're doing. Their code doesn't look like they are. And that's, you know, I know that's a minor thing, but it's not so minor when there's bugs, you know. And nothing is without bugs. Even the best made programs have bugs floating around in them somewhere. You just haven't run across them yet. Okay, so we're doing basically the same thing. In fact, we're doing exactly the same thing except the vertex attribute array is 1 and then the attribute pointer is starting at 1. And it's only 2 wide because it's X and Y, not X, Y, and Z. Okay. Okay. We can do that. So video ID lists add video ID. Oh wait, is this float or integer? No, it's float. Okay, integer is the next one. Okay. Float buffer, texture, buffer, memory stack, float, length, text, buffer, put. And they put that at 0. Whoops. They put that at the 0th position there, right? Yeah. Okay. So GL 46 GL array buffer. VBO ID and then GL 46 GL buffer data. Array buffer text buffer and then GL 46 GL static draw. That was static draw, right? Yes. Six GL enable text attribute array 1 GL 46 GL vertex attribute pointer 1 size is 2 type is float. Normalized false. And then I think this is 0 and 0. Alright. Yep. Okay. And then we have the indices. Alright. This is integer stuff. So int index VBO ID GL gen buffers. Okay. Int buffer. And this goes to element array buffer. Both of those are the same. Alright, so int index buffer put 0 indices 46 GL bind buffer 46 GL element array buffer. This should be, yeah, index reveal ID is correct there. GL46 GL buffer data. GL46 GL array, nope, GL elements array buffer, and it would be index buffer. And was this static draw as well? Yes. GL static draw. And what do they do differently here? GL bind buffer array buffer 0. Bind vertex array 0. I wonder why that is a thing. Buffer GL46 GL array buffer 0. Bind vertex array 0. GL46 bind vertex array 0. There's a cleanup here. Yeah, see, it's going through the lists and doing GL delete buffers and GL delete vertex arrays VAO ID. Should the... Oh yeah, GL bind vertex array VAO ID. GL gen vertex arrays. GL gen, did I get those in there? GL gen vertex arrays. GL bind vertex array. I did, okay. So then there's a cleanup. Avoid. So we got video ID lists that for each buffers. GL46 GL deletes buffers. Delete vertex arrays VAO ID. GL46 GL deletes vertex arrays D. Okay. All right, so that's the mesh class. Together finally. So model loader is where we were. So I had to call process mesh here somewhere. And down here, process mesh. Just does a return new mesh, blah, blah, blah. All right, so let's go back to that. Process mesh. All right, so turn new mesh. Oops. Go. Save mesh. And then add the mesh to the mesh list. Which is material get mesh list add mesh. I think I added it to it yet. Okay. Source, getters and setters, put that. Back here, material, hit mesh lists, add mesh. All right. If default material get mesh list is empty, material list add default material. If not default material, yeah. Mesh list dot is empty. And then material list add default material. Materials dot add default material area. Turn new model, model ID, material lists. Alright, so I probably have to fix model, right? Yeah, because this is nothing like what they're calling a model. So I've got an ID, an entities list, and a material lists. We'll just do the ID and the material list for right now. Oh, entities list is just empty? Well, yeah, but we'll just do ID and material lists for the moment. So string ID and then list material lists. Right, string ID, lists, material. That's what they have, right? Yep. Alright. Generate getters and setters. And we'll do that. Cool. So then, oh, he's got a constructor there. Let's get rid of these. We'll do a constructor. Generate constructor using fields. There we go. And then source generate getters and setters. And we'll just generate getters for these. All right. Turn new model. What ID did they give it? Model ID. Oh, it's passed in as a parameter. Model ID. Okay. Okay, we'll set that. I guess I don't need to do that because you have to set the lists coming in, so we'll do that instead. Why is this message mesh is pointer buffer not being used? Because I'm not doing it the same way. Is that what? See meshes. meshes. Yeah, meshes dot get. Oh, so that's for the create. Yeah, I don't need that. There's no point in having it there if we're just going to do it on one line anyway. All right. And honestly, I could do the same thing here because it's not used for anything else right now. I mean, the only reason for doing this is if you're going to do a null check on it, which would be useful, but since we're not doing a null check on it, I'll just leave it be for now. Less is more, as they say. Okay. So we're loading all that up. Curious where we're at here. One warning. Keyboard callback logger not used. Oh, that's fine. Do a project clean. We're gonna have an error because calling this load and we're not giving it a model ID, but that's fine. What else we got here? A little renderer. Okay, this is, I think I can get rid of model renderer altogether here. So we got model loader, and then what's the next part of this? So we got scene render. Scene render. I got shaders. Don't really. I don't have any need for shaders yet. But I guess we'll need something there. Resources, shaders, scene, vert, scene, frag. Uniform, so I have no idea the shader stuff right now. I guess the question is, see what their regular render is. Render scene engine. Yeah, I guess I goofed up by jumping into the end of the jumping into chapter 9 before going through all the other chapters here. But let's see, what's chapter 3? See, that's where they introduce shaders. Logic. Okay. Window. FW default window hints. Window options. Game, main engine, game engine. Obviously they're implementing that interface for some reason, but not sure why. Window scene render. Rendering a triangle. I mean, sure. See, this is the problem with a book like this, is that they start off with stuff that is not very interesting. Chapter 8. What is this tiny log? Oh, they're using a library called tiny log or something. Okay. Whatever. I've got the logging done already. Sensitivity. Coordinates, inputs. Update. Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. There are models under there, under resources. Okay. Which is understandable, but also maybe not. Shader program. Can I create shader? Shader modules. What if I forego the shader stuff for now? And do it without any shaders. Will it even work? That's a question. Uniforms map. Projection matrix. View matrix. let me see if I can figure out how to take what was working here and do the same thing. So we got delete buffers there, index, bind buffer, draw elements. So we bring in a model. Right. Now I've got material. So let's see if I can figure out how they're doing it. Render. So what do they do here? Model. Scene, get model map values. For each model, get entities lists, material, uniforms map, set uniform, material diffuse color. Get texture. Active texture, texture bind. For each mesh, bind vertex array. Entities, GL draw elements, GL triangles. Mesh number of vertices. For each entity. So they're doing the GL draw elements like what I had. Unsigned int for all the indices, or they're doing it for the vertices. So I guess makes more sense than what I'm doing. Doing it over entities. It's probably. I don't know. I don't understand why they have entities. What are these? Model matrix, position, scale, entity. Oh, so entity is what I was calling a model, basically. It's how it's rotated and scaled and. Okay, I see what they're doing there. So they're just looping over that for all the entities in the scene based on the model, because you can have multiple. You have the model loaded once, but you can have multiple entities that use the same model. Okay, so that makes sense. So then all they're really doing is they're looping over the entities, and then where's that? They also have like a camera position and stuff, which I'm not worried about at the moment. We'll get to that. But I'm more interested in just showing the one model that I have, the one entity that I have, and being able to rotate it. So there's set uniforms map, model matrix. So I don't know what the uniforms thing is, but I assume I'm gonna drop that off right now and just look at the GL draw elements. Number of vertices, bind vertex array. Because I'm assuming this has something to do with the shader stuff. What's uniforms map? Or I guess, what is that? There's a class called uniforms map. do you do? Program uniforms. Set uniform. GL uniform 4F. I don't know. That's some OpenGL concept I'll have to figure out. But I think I could drop that off right now and just focus on what I've got. So that's where entity comes in. It's kind of weird. Am I just crazy in how they've modeled this? Because what they've done is they've put the model there. Then they put the list of entities using that model inside the model object, which seems back-asswards. All right, like, wouldn't you have a list of entities with the model? I mean, I guess they're doing it because they don't want the model to get unloaded. So I guess it makes sense from that perspective. Hey, Premier, welcome on in. How you doing? Yes, I guess from that perspective, they don't want the model to get unloaded from memory. So they put model first and then the entities coming off of it. Which again just feels weird because you could just... You could have a model cache. Right. Like you could have a model cache and then put them all in there and then just have them drop off when there's no... Well, I guess an easy way to know whether to drop them off is if there's no longer any entities attached to them. So I guess that's why they're doing it that way. Huh. Interesting. Hey, Fishy Codes. Welcome on in. How you doing? So I guess that's why they're doing that, because then they can loop over the models and say if this model no longer has any entities, then it can be cleaned up, probably. Okay. Okay, Fishy. Welcome. How you doing? Good. I got no phone. Any suggestions? For phone apps? Not really. Not really. So it's funny because I use my phone just for I use it for email. I use it a little bit for social media, and I have, what is the game that I keep, there's a couple games that I always play on the toilet. So Royal Match is one of them. Put no money into it. And what's the other one that I got so much? Card Crawl is a good one. If you like card games, Card Crawl is nice. It's also got a PC version if you prefer on a PC. Oh, of all things, Mario Run from Nintendo. That game, it's a infinite runner. It's Mario, And for some reason, it's just crack cocaine. I can't explain it. It's so simple and yet it's so addicting at the same time. And that one I actually purchased the regular, because you only get like for free. You only get like the first world. And after I got done the first world, I was like, I need this. So I purchased it. It was, I think it was like $3 or something. It was not very expensive at the time. I did at one point have so there's an Elder Scrolls game that they're shutting down. I think it's Elder Scrolls Legends or something, which was a card game, which I never actually got around to playing. But there's another one that I actually played a little bit of too, where I forget the name of it. It was like you actually go dungeon crawling in it, but you build up like a castle town as well. It has all the mobile nonsense in it too, but it was actually a little bit interesting. Elder Scrolls mobile games. Which one was it? Oh, Elder Scrolls Blades? Is that the one? I think that's the one. Turned your hometown fire destroyed. Yeah, I think this is the one. Yeah, this is the one. Elder Scrolls Blades. This is actually surprisingly fun. It's you have like the regular Elder Scrolls sort of combat. And you go through dungeons and stuff. And it's got, loot and things. But you basically just build up you return to your town, it's all destroyed and you have to rebuild the town. It's actually pretty fun. All things considered. And it's got like 3D stuff, so it's you wouldn't think that it would translate well to like a touchscreen mobile thing, but they managed to make it not terrible as far as like the combat and stuff. It's definitely Elder Scrolls combat, which is janky in the best of days, but it's surprisingly competent for a mobile game. So yeah. Yeah, so I'm gonna ignore the uniforms map right now. And I guess I'll make an entity class like they have. And I'll tie it to the model. And then what we'll do is we'll just do the GL draw elements for that. And then the texture, GL active texture bind. So we'll do those. I guess is the texture, do I have a texture class? I don't think I do. I'm going to have to make this too. Generate texture. I don't want to generate one. I want to use the one that's there. STBI load. What the frig? Generate texture. So what would that be? Oh, it's not compatible? Oh no. Yeah. Yeah, I don't that's gonna be an interesting one for you. GL generate delete textures. Oh, generate texture is bind pixel store texture parameter. Image 2D. Generate map. Okay, so I'll have to do both of these. The texture path as well. All right, so let's go back to where I was. So material or not material. Not material. Model has an entity list. So that's the one I just skipped over. Now we need to do it. What is this freaking song? Holy crap, that is the most annoying song in the freaking world there. Wish I could skip it. Holy crap. I mean, I like OC Remix and all, but god damn, sometimes they crank out some really annoying shit. Diablo Immortal works, huh? I played a little bit of Diablo Immortal. It was okay. It was not earth-shattering or awesome or anything like that. It was merely okay. Texture, so entity is what I'm looking for. All right, so this is just a Pojo. Well, it's got a set position, set rotation. It's kind of just a Pojo, except it's got a couple of things in it. All right. I don't position, rotation, scale. It's not as addictive. Yeah. The problem you run into a lot with the mobile stuff is that they just kind of, it's very blatantly cash grabby, like to the point where it's like almost nauseatingly cash grabby. So that kind of diminishes a lot of mobile games for me, at least, where it's just like you can't even. There's two things that really bother me the most about mobile games. One is the forced tutorial. And by forced tutorial, I mean, it's like, it points at stuff. It's like, you must press this now. Now you must press this. Now you must press this. Now you must press this. And some of them just go for like an hour. Just like, you must press this now. You must press that now. You must press this now. It's like, come on. It's like, I'm not stupid, right? But they treat you like you're freaking stupid. It's like, now you gotta do this. Now you gotta do that. And you're not allowed to do anything else. You have to do exactly what it says. I hate that. I absolutely hate that. If you want to do a tutorial, fine. I'm okay with tutorials. Just don't force me to, like, don't hold my hand while I do it. You know what I mean? Like, tell me why something exists, not just click here, click here, click here, click here. I hate that so much. And they make it as annoying as possible, like flashing green arrows and stuff. And then the second thing is, and like one of them that I mentioned, the Royal Match thing, does this a lot, is the forced timers, right? Where it's like, and by forced timers, I mean not like something's going to take 3 hours to do. It's more like, you now have to stop playing and you can't pick it up again until some timer expires, right? And they do that because they want you to pay for stuff, obviously, but that's also diminishes the overall enjoyment of the game, right? Because it's like, okay, I'm having fun, and now I'm stuck. I can't have fun anymore. You know, it's like you know that annoys me. Like I don't mind the way like Mario Run did it, where it's like, here's the entirety of World 1. If you want more, buy the game. That's fine. They don't put a timer on there, right? Necessarily. They do have like you do have to have like tickets to run things, but they're usually fairly easy to get, you know, so you can build them up to a point where you have, you know, 99 I think is the maximum, and I'm often at 99 on that, so it's not really a problem except at the very, very beginning. But yeah, it's those two things just drive me absolutely bonkers. Let's mix these in. Matrix. Position. Rotation, and then scale. Why are these a problem? Oh, because they're... Why are these final? That's so unnecessary. Why are those final? Source, generate getters and setters. Select all. Oh wait, before I do that, they have a constructor, don't they? They love their constructors. Yeah, ID and model ID. Yeah. What do they do with that? Okay, so source generate constructor using fields. ID, model ID. All right. The only game you play is Wilderness Man versus Wild. There you go. I mean, it's something. Like, you know, there's always that's one of the cool things about the mobile stuff too. Is there's always something out there that you can find that's just really addictive. It's just sometimes you gotta scroll past all the nonsense to get to it, you know. So what are they doing? Model matrix position, rotation, scale. Okay, let's just set these up here. One, F, new. New. I'm not sure why you would want empty ones. What do they do in here that they want empty ones? Oh, they just want to assume that it exists. Which I guess makes sense, because then if you're setting the position repeatedly, then yeah, okay. Sure. Set scale, get scale. All right, so get rotation, set position. See what they're doing. So generate getters and setters. Get rid of the setters for these two because we have them in the whatchamajoosit constructor. But then model matrix and all this stuff, he's got easier things. Although he's just got a getter for model matrix. Yeah, he just has a, and then he has an update. Translation, rotate, scale. Okay, I see. So, why would you make that a separate call, though? I guess that, yeah, okay, because you want to set scale position and then just do it in one shot. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll get rid of the setter for that. And look at position, float X, float Y, float Z. Me there. Get some F0 going. Position X, Y, and Z. Okay. That's all. That position X. And then set rotation. X, Y, Z angle. Float X, float Y, float Z. I guess it's in angle. Nope, float angle. Yeah, I guess that would make sense. Float angle. So rotation dot from axis angle radians. Okay. Radians. Okay. Set scale, float scale. That's correct. Oh, I don't need a get serial version ID. I accidentally had that selected. Okay, and then we just need a public void update model matrix. What is this? Translation, rotate, scale. Okay. Rotate scale. Okay, that seems good. It's not finding it. Oh, is the game so old that it's not supported on the platform on your new phone? Because that's entity, so then we put that with the model then. So private list entity entities. They actually have, did they set that in the, I don't think they did in the, no they didn't. Okay. Get entities, and they only really had to get entities, which I agree with actually. So equals new array list that. And we can get rid of set altogether. That. Perhaps you're misspelling it. Maybe. Maybe. Okay. Set entities. Now in there. And oof. Okay. So if I look at model renderer here, just get rid of these for the moment. See what I'm doing. So we got scene get model map values. Okay, that's the scene object. So they take a scene in here. That's fine. I'm just taking a model because that's all I really want right now is just one model. Looping over to entities. And then the material list. Oh, and then the meshes. Loop upon loop upon loop. Alright, so what I'm going to do here, let's go, so we want to loop over the entities, which is really only going to be one. So model.get entities dot for each. And we want to say you have it on your old phone, it's not popping up in the store. Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, like Google Play Store will automatically hide stuff that your phone that's like incompatible with your phone or that's too old. Sometimes it'll show things and sometimes it won't. I find it's very inconsistent. You might want to like see if you can find it in just the regular web browser and see if it shows up still. Like just do like a regular Google search for it. I don't know. Like sometimes on a mobile browser it'll redirect you to the Play Store and it'll open up the Play Store again. So your mileage may vary there. So material lists. So I want to take the material list and want to do the meshes and stuff. Okay, draw elements, triangles, meshes, active texture, DL textures, texture binds. Is this used down here? No, it's not. Okay. So if I say private void render materials. Material lists. Material lists. And just gonna loop over that to texture cache, get texture. I think. Yeah, material, get texture path. I didn't do the texture stuff. Well, I did the texture stuff, but I didn't do the texture cache. Yeah, I didn't actually load the textures yet. Yeah, so we need this. All this is doing is pulling in the texture path, though. Not actually. Where do I load? Oh, the actual texture class. See, this is where I haven't done. See, I need this. to actually go and load the texture and stuff. That's what I'm missing more so than the cache. I don't need to cache it yet. I just need to load it. I only have one model right now. The caching will come with time. Yeah, so I have to load textures up. That was the other thing I was looking at. So texture ID, texture path. Love how they have a texture ID here and they never use it? Question mark. Like they bind to it. Oh, here it is. Generate texture, texture ID, generate textures. Okay. What the hell's going on there? Okay. Well, real fast we can do texture Java. I'll actually have ID and path in here right now. Okay, so I already had it. It's just we have to flesh this out now. All right. So be it. Model render. Did I? Yeah, we just have to do. What was the GL draw? Let's comment this out for a second. Since it's not correct anyway right now. And we comment out the things that are broken. Because we're going to have to revisit all of these anyway. To make them work properly. All right, let me just, I want to commit what I've got, even though it's not working at all. But I just want to get off this, I want to get off the machine here. I want it as a backup here. It'll be backed up in the proper place. So team, commit, utils, all of these are fine. Okay. Factoring for textures and model loading. Not currently functional. Work in progress. Okay. So we'll do that. Anything in there? Okay. Can push. Okay, good. Let me check to make sure there's no Dependabot stuff. There is a Dependabot thing. Oh, check style. Okay, that's fine. Push that down. Get that out of there. Not expecting too much in the way of Dependabot stuff, but no. Let's pull that change down. All right, excellent. And yeah, I want to, you know, fix up the main method here and stuff so that it's more proper and all those things, and get a proper game loop going and proper engine and all that stuff. So you found a name, you just don't see it. Oh well. Yeah, that's probably what it is, Premiere. It's probably like what I've found is like games that are a lot older and maybe haven't been updated in a while, like the Play Store will just kind of bury them. Instead of just telling you that it's not compatible with your current Android level, it'll just like pretend it doesn't exist, which really sucks. And then sometimes it will tell you that it exists and it's incompatible. It's just, I don't know. I don't understand the logic behind it. I don't know if there's just like they're looking for last updated date or something like that. You know, if something's been on the store and hasn't been updated in a couple of years, if they just kind of silently start to bury it or whatever. I don't know. I don't know how that works. Cool. Well, it's quitting time for me, friends. Just past 11:30 my time, so I think we'll stop there. Unfortunately, we still got a hurdle to go over, but I still feel like we're making progress. And I really I've made this harder on myself because I jumped into the middle. I jumped ahead to chapter 9 instead of starting earlier on, but I think I can massage out the stuff that's I don't care about at the moment, like shaders and things like that, and then just come back to it, because from what I understand, shaders are a complete other beast unto themselves, and we'll have to deal with them at some point, but I'm hoping I can just kind of just still get a model loaded and get it looking like the model that I have and all that stuff. So but yeah, I mean, that's kind of where we're at. Why do I have that in there? I think it just generates it. It just generates it and ticks me off. That said, I think Friday we'll probably be back to Magenta Breeze and try and do more with that, because I do want to keep doing that, keep making progress on that this week. And then Saturday we'll be back to more of this, more game dev stuff, learning that, and we'll have a longer session on Saturday, because I'll try to start early if I can. It really depends on, you know, what I can do. But the rest of the week is going to be gaming as usual. So tomorrow and Wednesday, I should be back to playing some more Dragon Age Veilguard. I've been working on trying to get a restream going off my local machine, to where I could do YouTube at a higher bit rate, but for some reason I can get it to push out to YouTube without any problems, but I can't get it to down sample for Twitch. And all I'm really doing is downsampling the bit rate, not the, it's still going to be 1080p and 60, but it's going to be at 5500, whereas YouTube I want to do at 8000. And for some reason, I can get it to push out to YouTube okay, I just can't get it to do the downsampling to Twitch, and I've been fighting with that for a couple days. So we're still gonna be multi-streaming and everything. I'm just using Restream as normal. But I am hoping at some point to get it to where I can get a higher bit rate out to YouTube, so it doesn't look quite so blurry when we're in when we're doing Dragon Age stuff. Hopefully. So we'll see on that. So that's Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday, we have 2 games coming out on Thursday that I've been waiting for. So I've had to pick my poison. So we're going to be doing, I believe, the Lego Horizon game, which I've been waiting for. We also have Dragon Warrior or Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remake coming out the same day. I'm just going to have to get around to that when I get around to that, unfortunately. It looks pretty cool, though. I gotta say, I'm hoping it's got all the modern conveniences and stuff. Because as much as I liked Dragon Warrior 3 on the NES, I would like to see it done with some more modern conveniences and stuff. So that's another thing. So I don't know when we'll get around to that, but I will try to get around to that at some point. Maybe that'll be like, if I feel like it doing a Saturday night stream, maybe we'll do that. I don't know. But Thursday, like I said, will be Horizon Lego Adventures. If I end up enjoying that, which it's a Lego game, I probably will enjoy it. I'll have to see where I can fit it into the schedule because so many things going on. Maybe that'll be like Wednesday, and then Tuesday will be like Dragon Age or something. We'll see. So we have that, and then Friday and Saturday are going to be coding sessions, and then Sunday night will be probably Heroes of Hammerwatch, maybe, or I might do something else. Then we'll see. We'll play that by ear as we do. But yeah, that is it for me for tonight, my friends. Is there anybody live? Mondays are usually pretty dead, but let's just take a look. So Koi is live right now playing Dragon Age. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, I cannot rate him on Twitch. Every time I've tried to rate him, it says I'm unable to do so. I don't know if he might have raids turned off. So what I'm going to do instead, as TMNT plays here, I'm going to pop the link to his Twitch into the chats. And if you please go check him out. Like I said, he's playing some Dragon Age Veilguard right now. I'm going to be heading over there myself and keeping him company for a little bit. So, like I said, that is that for me for tonight. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Just a reminder that for this month, I am collecting for Extra Life donations. You can go to memoryleakdeath.tv/donate at any time you want. It'll automatically redirect you to the donation page, and if you feel so inclined, you can go over there and do your thing. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, everybody, and I hope to see you back here again in the future for some more stuff, whatever happens to suit your fancy. Until then, see you, bye.
Kokainom.